Ever since I was a little girl, I've been creative, and it's always been downplayed in favor, Chloe's shaking here, in favor of mechanical thinking, deterministic thinking, having something that can be measured. Creativity can't always be measured. Creativity is something that intuitively in you that springs up from the ground of your being. And when it springs up from the ground of your being, it manifests itself in something that is given to the world, something that is innovative and not normal and has not been repeated or copied. Why is that? Because when you create, there is only one you. And because there's only one you, it will never be copied. Who can copy you? Who can be you except you? So whatever you choose, she's loud. Whatever you choose to create is going to come from the essence of the ground of your being, and there is only one of you. So you are called to live a creative life, and it is built upon the essence of the embodiment of your humanity and the essence of your sensuality, the sensual expressions of your emotions, and how those emotions of touch and taste, sight, smell, sound, all those things are how you navigate within your day. You can navigate them according to your ego, which produces a low vibrational energy. And I would probably say that is not necessarily creative. I would say perhaps that's mimicking. Maybe you don't have enough confidence in you to step out to be you. Because when you're creative, you will step out and you will show up, however that is, just to be you. And it will be the essence of who you really are, and you will have to risk it all just to be you. And that is where we stand now in creativity, which is really greatly needed in this realm. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit of my experiences with the church, but without any sense of negativity, and how it came against that word sensuality by making it believe that it was evil, when in reality, how in God's name could you be evil in the own embodiment of your expression of your emotions? So I was reading a book. I decided I'm flipping and turning the direction and integrating quantum spirituality with creativity. So in learning quantum spirituality, we are going to be invited to create a life, whatever that is. And I've said it on numerous videos. What are you called to create? I'm kind of astonished that either people don't know, they don't know how to create their life, or they don't know where to start, or they've been in lockdown in their feelings or their emotions. And creating your life is like jumping off the edge of a cliff and just responding to that creative aspect, because it takes that first step. So I'm doing this thing by Julia Cameron, and it's called The Artist's Way. I'm an artist. I don't draw, but I'm an artist. I've always known I was an artist. A lot of you are artists, and you're artists in your life. You're artists in how you create your life. You're artists in your music. You're artists in your innovative way you teach. You're artists in the way that you see the world. You're artists, you just don't know you've been shut down. So in this book by Julia Cameron called The Artist's Way, it's a guide to higher spirituality. Some of you may know about it. I've had it for a year, and it's a 12-week program, very unique, very individual. But there was a sentence in there which caught my mind. So let me say the sentence, and then you'll see what I mean. She said that the artist, the creative, the language that flows from the artist and the creative is a language of felt experiences. Experiences that are felt, experiences that are uniquely you, that come through the sensuality of your senses. You are not robotic. You are not templated to be like anybody else. You are creating a unique, creative, artistic life. You are painting on the brushstrokes of your own design. You are creating the pattern of your own life, and there is no one like you. It comes from your own felt experiences. Some of those experiences have brought perhaps trauma that needs to be healed. But when you gather together all those experiences and they become the whole of your life, they engage with the universe in a dynamic expression of your creativity. And when you know that, when you truly know that, you are filled with the shining light of the energy that is within you, joy and gratitude. So we speak from the essence of our being, and we should be speaking from the truth, because out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. But if you're speaking from the ego, you can create from that, but it will never give the fullness of what you desire until the ego is surrendered to the heart and to the mind that gets the ideas. So here you are creating from the essence of your being, but there's so many, especially Christians, that are so afraid to step out because they've been so locked down into a rigid form and a rigid structure where there has never come any expansion within their life. So as we heal and as the ego is surrendered then to the heart, there is this longing and this desire to interpret life through the senses in my humanity. I'm not a robot. When music touches me, I feel a stirring in the essence of my being. If you see art and you truly go into what the painter is trying to say, it will touch you in the deepest part. Friends and relationships reach places in you that your mind will never go, because this is the beauty of the emotions. When you're at the ocean and you just, I close my eyes and sometimes I just have to hear and breathe it in. There is no other expression of creativity that ministers into the deepest part of my being other than just being at the ocean. Or if you're in the forest and you just breathe it in, smells will excite you. Sight will excite you. The beauty of nature. And I will tell you that in the coming days, quantum is going to link integrally with beauty, because beauty is a perception, and good God, we need that. Because in this world today, it doesn't look that beautiful. But when you rise in consciousness, you will see beauty at a level you've never seen before. And your whole life will be the creative atmosphere that you create of the energy that is within your being. So when you speak from the essence of your true design, it could speak from also from your wounds. Because you see, you will never create beautifully and wholly until those wounds are healed. And we're all in process. And I can tell you now, I've never felt more creative, the way I'm looking at things, the way I'm getting ideas. Why is that? I'm not fully healed. I don't think, I believe we're healed, but I believe there are always things in our life that will trigger us, and we may have to go deeper, because that is the essence of life itself. But in my life, I feel so much has been healed. My ego has been surrendered to my heart. And suddenly I am seeing things in ways that I've never been able to see before. I am connecting the dots in how to intuitively teach this. And this is not just available to me, it's available to all of us. So when I speak from the essence of my true design, all those masks that come upon us of hiding, of fear, of anxiety, of pretending something that we're not, or trying to be something that they're not, they come down and you are fully exposed. What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with it when you're fully exposed? Don't answer too quickly. What are you going to do with that when people see you for who you really are? When people see the real you for who you are, all the beauty and all the essence, what will you do with that? Because we like to post memes and things about that, but that is a place where you are standing exactly as you are. And the questions of, am I enough? The questions of, who am I? Those all go to the side, because you know you've been placed in time for such a time as this. So we have to engage in the blueprints in the quantum field, in our heart, to engage with that essential design of what we're called to create. And I am called to create many things, not just the school, many things. Every time I do a reel on Instagram or Facebook, and they're getting 1,000 people hitting on those reels. No one's more shocked than me, because it is the essence of my creativity. There is something waiting for you, rising up in you like a volcano, that you're going to put your time stamp on, and it's going to be revealed to everyone in this current mode, and they're going to be blown away because they never probably believed you had it in you. We are getting ready to move into an arena where people are going to be shocked and keep trying to pull us back into who they thought we were. Don't go there. Don't go there. So I am living and moving and having my being in the depths of my creative life. There is innate creativity that is infused into my DNA, and I believe it is infused into everyone's DNA because God, the ultimate quintessential creator, you observe within God looking out, and God will not look out through anything other than a creative lens. God is always substantially creating. He is always substantiated down to your cells, which are made new how many seconds? They're always turning over, down to the fact that things are always flowing out of you. So you live and move in the essence of your divine being. And that has innate creativity down to the cellular level of your body. The cells are new. Things are new every moment. You are being recreated every moment by a God who really is into creativity and is waiting for people to leave the lockdown of religion to see why it is they are like they are, who they are, and who and what they're called to create. So what does create mean? Because most people think it means that they automatically revert to art. It is that, but it's more than that. It's the essence of your being. It is to bring into existence something. What are you bringing into existence? You are bringing a creative life into existence. That is the foundation of your creative reality. And that creative reality is revealed through quantum spirituality of oneness and wholeness and entanglement. The fact that you are linked with everybody and you have this God that is infatuated with the fact that you came from energy and you have this form, and to make the most out of this humanity in the sensuality of the pleasure of your emotions and your thoughts and everything that goes along with it. So to create is to first bring into existence the reality of your true design. That's what I'm trying to help people realize in quantum spirituality. It's not a course that is like linear. It is those aha moments where they're finally capturing that they're one with the universe, with God, with source, and out of that will flow creativity. So the next step after intuitive insight is flow. Let me say that again. You can go into any church, any conference meeting, any corporate setting, and the end result of anything you're being heard or taught is that you got to produce. You go into a church, you got to produce. You go into a corporate setting, you got to produce, because the value of who you are is measured by what you produce. That's not what I'm talking of. What I'm talking is the essence of flowing in your creative design, and that permeates every area of your life. It is not about production. It is about rest and in heart coherence, knowing the limitlessness and the potential of the quantum field. It is such a good time that we are living in. It is an excellent time that we are living in. So to fully realize how to create this life, you're going to do it through the unique experiences that you feel, that you touch, that you taste. It does not matter how you evaluate them, because you can take whatever has been bad and you put it into the now, and there is redemptive value in every single thing we've gone through. If you do not believe there is redemptive value in what you've gone through, then you are a victim, and victims don't create. Victims emulate every sorrow, every grief, and they're constantly rehashing all the negatives. You cannot be a victim and create. But when you create from your felt experiences, no matter what they are, when they turn around and they look you right in the face, and you ask yourself, what meaning does this have in my life? There are numerous ways to create the beauty of who you are through experiences that have been almost shown to knock you down. I will repeat it again. Victimhood will never create. As long as we keep rehashing over and over and over and constantly deconstructing and rehashing and speaking ill things and negativity, you will never create, because to create comes in the beauty of your wholeness. And your wholeness looks at everything you've gone through, all the crap in life, all the rejection, all the isolation, and you turn it around and you look at it and you take those fragmented areas, you bring them into a heart of forgiveness and gratitude and love, and you are the essence of creativity. And then there is no stopping you. There is a purpose to people being healed from trauma. There is a purpose in people leaving and deconstructing and leaving rote religion behind. And it is not just to continually talk about it. It is to create so that we are in awe of God, in awe of the universe, and in awe of everything that is within us that we've never been able to see before. So the thing is this involves all of this, and here's that word. Oh, we hated that word. That word sensual and sensuality. Did you ever think of what people, many of you were in the church, how that word was used? It was evil and loathing. I'll give you some definitions, but when you're involved in sensual pleasure, that's a given fact in your humanity. I navigate this earth through the physicality, through intimacy, through sexual intimacy, through physical intimacy. That is the I am in me. Don't blush. It's true. The emotions, the stirred emotions in you. That is the physicality of the outworking of looking at things, and they ignite who you are and where you're standing. So you cannot be human without having sensual pleasure unless you're always trying to reach God in a warped template of holiness that never really existed, trying to be pure. And we'll talk about that too. That's not it. It is the raw, messy, ongoing, life-altering revelation that comes with the sensual pleasures that hit your senses and come into your emotions, where life is messy and raw and real. And from that, it's time, folks, to live. It's time to live. So to live an abundant life is creative expression, and you embody that in your humanity. So in the embodiment of our humanity, to live, move, and have our being in the Christ field, in God, to live, move, and have our being is a unique individual experience that when we are flowing in our beautiful felt experiences, we flow as a river because creativity is expansive. It is not a one-person event. It is creativity that engages other people's emotions in so many different ways, in teams forming, in art being produced, in innovative businesses. The unlimited potential in the quantum realm to create that which is already in the desires of your heart is so right here for us right now. And so as this school develops over the next year, you have to create something. And so I hope one day to be able to mentor people in that, whatever that means. Now let's talk about, I'm gonna give you examples from my Christianity. And again, be positive, but this was reality. Sensuality, good Lord, it was the evils of the body, outrageous conduct, wanton violence, total devotion to the gratification of the senses. Oh my God, think of it, total devotion to the gratification of the senses. Good God, you're human. You should have some devotion to the gratification and the flowing of your senses that come from heart coherence. It was said that sensuality is the exclusion to what is really of soul and spirit. Duality, duality, duality. That, folks, is not oneness. When you're taking the essence of a sensual experience and you're saying that it is separate from soul and spirit, that is duality in its finest. And that's exactly what I learned all those years in the church. In this, it was also said that feasting on the eyes on forbidden images. Let me just get real to you. A lot of those guys that have a problem with women dressing the way they dress parade their wives across church platforms as these holy Madonnas, but in the essence of their life, they're ego-driven by lust because they have not come to terms with their own sexual pleasure. That's just one example. Women have been abused through the patriarchy, constantly telling us what is and what is not available, constantly locking us down. I'll end it there. So it says that sensuality has no restraints, no boundaries. You're not able to inherit the kingdom of God. It is direct opposition to God's desire to live by the Spirit. That is the very reason why quantum spirituality is so important right now, because to look through the essence of a book and to devise a robotic life based upon a literal interpretation of a book, or even any default position of a book, is sheer lunacy, because you will never confine the essence of your creativity into any one wisdom book, into any one person. The essence of your creativity is as broad and as expansive as the quantum field. So there was a suspicion on anything that brought joy to our senses. Maybe you didn't experience this. I did. Try to be holy. You don't drink. You don't do this. You don't watch this. It was laws and rules and rituals. And that's why the world was so fast moving apart from us. That's why we mimicked. That's why we copied, because we didn't have any creativity, because it depended on the sensuality of the senses. And that was not allowed. Listen to this statement. This way of thinking about sensuality towards things that bring joy to our senses became a sort of functional Gnosticism, where we relegated pleasure of any kind to a bin entitled of the earth. This division occurred in different ways with different people and to varying degrees. Whatever it appears, wherever it appears, the effect is the same. Our capacity to enjoy and create beauty was muted and locked down. Food became fuel. Sex became only about procreation. God forbid you would enjoy it. Or worse, obligation. Let me say that again, because folks, somebody's got to talk about this, of the sexual repression through purity culture that is in Christians not being able to explore the beauty of who they really are. When you're going to talk about sensuality and it is deemed as evil, then what is deemed as evil becomes a law. Food becomes fuel. God forbid you would sit down with a glass of wine and good friends and good pasta and just enjoy the meal, and sex becomes procreation and one child, two child. God forbid that a woman would even declare that this is something that she enjoys. Come on, folks, get real. That was all locked down. Architecture wasn't built for the beauty, it was for shelter. So everything that the religion put its hand on became a method or a dogma or a tradition or a rule, and it's totally zapped it of creativity. Food is not just for fuel. Food is for an intimate gathering of people, where you're opening up your heart and you're discussing what better way to do that than over the table. That is the essence of creativity. And there are other things that were obligation, architecture. When they built the cathedrals way back in the Medicis, and when you go to Rome and you see the cathedrals, if you look past the religious dogma and you see the beauty of the essence what flowed from their heart, and then you go into a 5,000 member auditorium with some guy in skinny jeans and a smoking message going on, and maybe an altar call, and progressive, a lifeless Christianity, because they don't have any creativity. You gotta wonder, the outward expression comes from the inward heart. What has happened to us? Well, maybe we won't see those cathedrals again, but I will tell you, you will create the essence and the beauty of the intricately designed life that you have, and people will know it's you because it will have your timestamp on it. They will know it's you because it will flow from the essence of your beauty. So something else about this, let's talk about quantum now. Now, what is this about quantum? I'm reading some books now written by physicists on quantum creativity, quantum beauty, and how this integrates when you fuse science and spirituality. Well, if energy is neither created or destroyed, but it changes in form, then you are the purity of divinity and humanity right now. You've not changed. You just came from the field, from God. So there's no duality in you. There is no good or bad. There is only ego that is a subconscious, because you have been affected by what is around you through hurts and wounds, that needs to awaken and be made whole so you can navigate this world in beauty and creativity. But you are still one, and you are still whole, and you are meant to create. So our humanity, even in the quantum field, is a form of energy moving at a slower speed of light. Nonetheless, it is light. And as you rise in light, you're going to rise in the essence of who you are, and you will shine. You will shine in your skin, you will shine in your being, you will shine in your creativity. You will shine, and it's time. So our humanity is sensual in every way. Jesus was sensual. He didn't walk on a cloud. Read the book of Mary Magdalene. We're going to study that one day. Well, let me just blow you a little bit more out of the water. He was sensual. If he exacted everything of his humanity to understand us, he moved in all of his humanity. I'll leave it there. He was not subject to this rising cloud that he somehow distanced himself. He was in the midst of his humanity, in his divinity, in all the sensual expressions. A woman came and totally slathered his body with oil. And then you have him touching people and moving through crowds. Think about the beauty of his humanity in the quantum realm of unlimited creativity. That is what we can learn. So our humanity is sensual in every way. And to deny that is to deny our humanity, which many do when you move in legalism or bliss. There is this beautiful balance that you're supposed to walk in the midst of. Maybe that's what Jesus meant when he said, in the world, but not of the world. He said, don't go to either sides of the ditch. You'll fall off. You'll fall off in thinking you've got to be raptured into bliss and you deny suffering. Or legalistic says you always got to have suffering. But when you're walking in the beauty of that balance, what you're knowing is that everything you've gone through, every single thing you've gone through, all those fragmented pieces, they're going to be gathered into your wholeness and you will create something extraordinary and beautiful. So why do you create? What is it that you want to create? So you create from a higher realm of consciousness in the field, and those things will manifest. And there's no plan or template. Okay, so you look at David, he got the tabernacle of David. There was no plan that was given to David. Why? He was a man after God's heart. If you're after the heart of Father who is within you, not without you, if you are after a coherent heart, you will create and you will be given a blueprint of design to move into this world, and that will be tailored of your life. It could be a business, it could be a course, it could be a school, it could be art, it could be writing, it could be technology, digital apps, it could be anything. The quantum realm, when you observe the quantum realm in God, God doesn't point you to what is not the essence of your being. What you see in the quantum realm, based upon the unlimited potential that is in the quantum realm, is energetically resonating with the essence of who you are. Don't worry about doing something that is not you. I would think that's impossible by the time you're accessing this realm of creativity, because everything I am right now and everything I'm doing is resonating at the deepest level of my being to create for people and for myself. So sensual pleasures are actually a high vibration of energy from the embodiment of your humanity in heart coherence, elevated emotions of love and gratitude and joy and forgiveness. That is the essence of sexual and sensual pleasures, physical pleasures, emotional pleasures. This is whole body awareness, okay? So this essence of who you are, nothing is excluded from it. It is who you are. So the sensual pleasure is a high vibrational energy. Okay, I never thought I'd be this bold, but hell, I'm out of the water. The ice is cracking, let me go. Dispenza just did this video and he's talking about hitting that bliss of the pineal realm. And it is a bliss that you enter into that produces all, Dr. K knows more about this than me, but the oxytocin and everything that transports you into a different realm of total ecstasy. Then he goes on to say that when the lower three chakras are lined up and they combine at the heart, the sexual pleasure of that coherence is off the charts. Now, why does Joe Dispenza have no trouble talking about that? But everybody in the church, it's like this unwritten law, because you deny the very pleasure that you have been given to experience. He said, everything is off the charts when the chakras align and they align with the coherence. Your clarity of vision is clear. Your sense of smell is greater. Your sense of touch is greater. That energy is vibrating at a very high vibration. So you, my friends, are sensual realities flowing in your humanity in the fullness of your divinity. Yet, as an example, if you've been raised in the rigidity of a patriarchal book called the Bible, And I do not, you know me, I don't discount the beauty of the Bible. I will never, because I believe it is a beautiful mystical book, allegorically, mystically. I'm not leaving it. I love it. But if you've been raised in any kind of church, the Assemblies of God, that's, I grew up, it was very legalistic. Let's put it out there. When you're raised in that, you're raised in the reality of this template that it lowers your vibrational frequency because there is no room to move. Everything's laid out. Everything's got a plan. This is how you fit. This is what you do. Don't break the system. Don't walk out of the system, because God forbid, because if you did, then you're going to challenge me as a leader. And if you challenge me as a leader, I got to set you free, or I've got to do something about it. So it's a whole lot easier to not create and to leave people locked down in the essence of a very rigid structure, because there's safety there. Creativity is messy and broad and expansive and wild and free, and it's out there and it's waiting. It's inviting us, it's calling us to explore the essence of who we are. So let's look at purity culture. Purity culture was back in the charismatic days, if I remember it correctly. Let's see how this locked down the essence of a young woman's sexuality. Purity culture said that young girls were going to pledge to their fathers to abstain from sex until marriage by wearing purity rings. You know how many girls got pregnant because they wanted to have sex, just because they got married because they wanted to have sex? They got rid of those rings, they got pregnant. Most of those marriages ended in divorce. There's something wrong with that picture. There's something abusive about that picture. There is something traumatic. There's got to be another way to relate this to kids. So this is trauma, and it's sexual repression and inhibition. Sexual repression, believe it or not, psychology today talks about sexual repression and creativity going hand in hand. If you are repressed and you do not know what love is, and you have not set yourself free, then you will be blocked creatively, because there is trauma lodged in the DNA of your cells that inhibits you from really enjoying life at the basis of a sensuality that you are called to do that. So there's also rigidity in wearing clothes. I know some of you have experienced that lockdown of having to have, like, you can't cut your hair, you got to wear long clothes, you have to look a certain way. So you adopt this persona to attend a service. But most of those kids I knew growing up that were in those youth groups that adopted a persona of holiness, they all just went wild when they got to university and beyond. And very few of them are even in any kind of church right now. Statistically, you would go bankrupt as a business if you did that. So why do we think we don't have to focus on the errors of what we're portraying to the young generation, and how to live a life that is full, and it is full of creativity? Couple more things. My worldview, are y'all getting this? Give me some, like, I see you are. Leslie always makes me laugh. I feel Leslie's energy. I feel Kathleen's energy. My worldview is that everyone can be the creative expression of the creator. Everyone can be the creative expression of God, of source. But if there's a major blockage in your mind and your heart, and you are without a clue on how to release yourself from that, because external laws you've like just spiritually bypassed your own humanity. Let me just end with this. Spiritual bypassing is when you attribute spirituality without having to really access the pain in your humanity. I love you, Dr. K. Thank you. So spiritual bypassing, there's a whole group of people that have spiritually bypassed the essence of their humanity by trying to be so holy in whatever way. And folks, that's not what Jesus came to show us. That is not what God wants to reveal in and through us. So we have bypassed by quoting Bible verses and pretending we're so holy, and yet simultaneous to that, frustration has risen in violence and pornography and all this ego-driven stuff, because creativity has been locked down, and people are going to turn to something because they don't like the rigidity of religion. So they're going to turn to something, even if it's ego-driven, because it is the only source of freedom that they have. But I'm talking about a greater essence of heart coherence, a greater creativity. So some of you may be wondering today, what do I create? We'll talk about that. I'm gonna do a free seminar on quantum creativity. It's going to be in June. I haven't decided on the date. I'm preparing it right now. It's going to be free. You're going to do it through this Thinkific platform that I've created. It'll give you a taste of what it's like. You're going to sign up, you're going to log into the Thinkific platform. And before we ever do the lives, there's going to be things you can read. I'll show you what I'm building. So if you don't know even who you are, you don't have a clue, because religion or anything external has caused you to bypass the beauty of your humanity. It's caused you to become the reason when you bypass your humanity, that results in addiction. It could result in obesity. It could result in you hating yourself. It could produce cutting. It could produce addiction to anything to help you escape the reality, because you're looking at your humanity like it is pathetic. Media does it. The perfect woman, the perfect man, the perfect child, the perfect life. Well, everything's crashing down now, folks, and it isn't going to get any better, contrary to what you may think. Things are crashing down. Don't get upset. There is a reason that this is all crashing down, because in your humanity, you are imperfectly perfect. And there's something beautiful where we have to let go of our preconceived notions. And this is what I want to do in these courses, because this is what I've been doing since I was a child, to look into the depth of who you are, past the insecurities, past the doubts, past the fears, past the addictions, past the past everything that you deem yourself unworthy to participate in, and zero in on that seed and say you can do it. And then you tell me what you want to do, and we'll walk it out together, and we'll all glorify and have joy when you actually emanate and manifest the essence of a creative idea in you. So some of you are locked down, unable to live, move, and have your being and your autonomy and your sovereignty, because you've become robotic followers, not just of a church, of a system. You don't think, you let other people think for you. You've entered echo chambers where you don't read anymore. Yeah, but Tender Ann, I know what you do, because I see what you do. I see what you're creating. You're creating beauty in and through what you post, because you're creating this beauty by what you show people just in your groups. I see what you do. It has meaning to me because I see your heart in it. That's had to say that. So if you're locked down because you do not know you're autonomous and you're sovereign. And if you'll see most theologians, if you Google this, they don't like those words. They really have nothing positive to say about those words. Autonomy is the right of self-government. Sovereignty is the authority of a state to govern itself. You are the kingdom. You are creativity. You are in your humanity. You are in the field. The field is in you. You are as the field. You are moving as God in the earth. You are sovereign and autonomous unto yourself, but you are not independent if your heart is in coherence with other people. You love unity. You love teamwork. And so then you gather together, each individual. I have the essence of regulating my own state. That's energy. I will say what can come in and what can go out. I will dictate what I resonate with and what I don't resonate with by intention. I will create my life saying yes to some things and no to some things, because I know that when my energy is engaged in resonance, it expands and it makes me so much more energetic than I ever realized. So you have to understand, what is your autonomy? What are you letting in? What are you letting out? What do you need healing from? What has locked you down? What are you called to create? Your sovereignty is your authority to do that. You do not have to have people bypass and come into your sphere of influence unless you want them there. That is true love. True love is knowing who you resonate with. So you are free to live, to move, and to have your being within the essence of your creative self. And if there is a hesitation, fear, anxiety, worry, there is a measure of different levels of pain or wounds or trauma. And I'm going to tell you, like what I had to do, you got to look at it head on. It can't be in your peripheral vision. You've got to put it right in front of you. You have to see what triggers you. You have to see where that hurt's coming from, what lies you're believing, I'm not enough and I'll never do this. And people always told me, the lies that you believe are as unique to your own self, because the subconscious will always try to shut down, the ego will always try to shut down every creativity. It will say, we don't need another book, don't need another school. There's already quantum people out there. Who's going to do this? Why would anybody want to listen to you? Why would anybody want to buy your product? Why would anybody want to even consider you? Those are those lies that consistently lower your energy. This is about expansion. So creativity innately flows from sensual pleasure. And we'll talk more about this. We'll talk about beauty and goodness and truth, because this, I believe, it's what's going to change the world. It's never going to be government. It's never going to be something moving at a low vibrational frequency. It's going to be people that are defying the system. What do I mean by that? They're not listening to what everybody's telling them is. They're creating from what they see in the field. And they're bucking the system every step of the way while still being in the world and acknowledging it. But they're not creating from lack. They're not creating from fear. They can't create from lockdown. They're creating from the essence of seeing what can't be seen and knowing what can't be known. So this is like, I'll end with this. There's just been this massive shift in me. And I realized it wasn't just enough to teach quantum as scientific facts or spirituality. I had to combine them in an even greater ways. What will it do for you? I couldn't just give you all that, but okay, so you're going to learn this. This is my creative ability. And you're going to then grow in your own creative, but I have other things. I'm loving going out and taking pictures at my artist's dates that I'm going to just go and I'm going to do reels and I'm going to do Instagram. That stirs creativity. What do you want to do? What have you not done for a while? Do you sing? Do you play an instrument? Can you write? Can you journal? Can you go in an art institute? Can you go help at a homeless shelter? Creativity is getting out of your comfort zone and risking it all to show up to be you. And there's no greater feeling than when you're working on a team with people that are just themselves. There's honesty and camaraderie and bravery and courage, and you can't ask for anything greater. So I hope this has helped you. I love you guys for watching. We're on a roll and we're just going to keep going. What's your bent? My bent is to see you move creatively. What's yours? Who are you? Think about that. Love you guys.